Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a video on Enlisted. Now, Enlisted is a game that's currently in beta testing for a limited time period and is free to play, so you can jump in if you're on PC. You just need to sign up, and I'll leave a link in the description so you can get that. Download a client and then boot into the game. It's a small download and it's really easy to get into. If you're already playing Cuisine Royale, you'll also note some of the sort of mechanics and the gameplay styling is kind of similar, and that's because this game is based on that engine and vice versa. Cuisine Royale actually spawned as a sort of beta test for Enlisted, which is a game that's been in development for quite a while, and they put Cuisine Royale as a way to test the weaponry and the hitboxes and all the other sort of things to sort of make sure this game's really polished when it finally releases. And it's been a long time since I've heard anything about Enlisted, so it's really cool to see a beta test for it and be able to get stuck back in. It is vastly different from the Cuisine Royale, as you can see from this gameplay footage that I captured recently. It is a World War II MMO, which is squad based, so you log into the game and you spawn in as a soldier in a squad. That squad is full of AI controlled characters, and you can choose which character to spawn as, and then if you get killed, you'll basically take control of one of the other characters in that squad until the entire squad's wiped out or you complete the objective. And you can then also swap between other squads and have a short delay when you wait to respawn again, and it's pretty fast paced in that way. There's not much hanging around, so it's pretty great. The gameplay is also fairly straightforward. It's basically a capture an area. It's quite similar to Battlefield in that way. For example, on this map you have 3 points A, B and C, and you have to capture them by just sitting next to the flag. It's pretty traditional classic gameplay in that way, so it's quite easy to follow and get into. There are also tanks and a multitude of different weapons. Now, it's an MMO game, so there are a lot of upgrades and there's a lot of progression to work through, but early on you still get some fairly decent gear, and you will see that your squad is AI, but also means there are a lot of enemies on the battlefield because there's a lot of bots running around, so you can get quite a lot of kills and feel really pro about yourself until you get shot by a real person. So you need to sort of work out which are the real people, where the danger is, and suss out how bots move and which ones are the actual threats, but you do feel like you're doing pretty well. There are some differences to this game and Cuisine as well. For example, you see I'm just getting killed there, and I've immediately respawned as one of the other squad mates who's already downed. The one benefit here is that you can actually bandage and heal yourself when you're down. You don't need to rely on a teammate to do it, so you can get yourself back up. But ammo and health bandages and grenades and things like that are much more limited than they are in Cuisine for that way. So it's not, you're not running around looting as much. You're just spawning in, running and killing. You can loot off enemy bodies and things, so it is worth watching out for that. But there are a lot more enemies in the game. They say their plan is to allow up to 140 players to be playing at one time online, so it's going to get really frantic, and it's certainly a lot faster paced than Cuisine and pretty crazy. You can see here I've just used up my SVT ammo, and I have to charge him with a knife because I don't have anything else. As default, your characters actually don't have any sidearms or any secondary weapons equipped, or at least the very basic default ones don't anyway. You can, however, equip those later on, and I'll show you that in a minute. Other things you can do, for example, is call in an artillery strike. So if you look, some of the squad members have the ability to do that. You just press 6 and it brings up the map, and then you can choose a place for the artillery strike to come in. I chose it on the last game, and now the enemy's done it on this one, and it's downed me because I'm still in that space. But again, you can revive yourself if you're lucky enough to have some bandages. You can heal yourself and you can get back up. Now at this stage, unfortunately, you cannot play with your friends, so you basically have to play this on your own. Although you can connect to friends on this game in the same way you can with Cuisine, there's no way to actually play with them at the moment, which is kind of sad. Hoping that I'll add that in soon, because I have the most fun when I'm playing with my pals, and I don't really feel the need to play on my own. But here you can see some of the other things about the game. You'll see there's a squad upgrade system, there's multiple squads that you can unlock multiple characters within those squads, and each of those characters also have a weapon. And if you dive into those, you can see you can unlock various things. You can add into their inventory, both in terms of pistols, secondary weapons, explosives, grenades, medkits, all sorts of other things. These obviously unlocked as you progress through the game, and you have to do them on a character by character basis as well, so there's a lot that you need to do, sort of manually manage those squads and assign the gear if you want to make sure you survive and have enough loot. One thing I did note as well is that bots at this moment aren't terribly clever. I found a bush and laid down in it, and I was able to just gun down loads and loads of bots as they ran by. However, the game itself is otherwise pretty well polished. It doesn't look quite as good as Cuisine at the moment, but it is early stages still. This is beta testing still. But there are the gunplay mechanics, for example, very good. The way the guns work, very good. The vehicles are pretty cool. Lighting's great, and there's a lot to look forward to. This could be a lot of fun. Hope you found this video useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, or hilarious. Be sure to subscribe and check out these other videos, as well as taking a look in the description for links and other information you might find useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see extra about this, and have a great life.